before that. So to our left, there's the touristy part of Niagara Falls where it has lots for families, and they have the haunted house and the Ripley's, believe it or not. They're not allowed down this way because since 1927, it's a Niagara Parks Commission, and they're conserving the beauty of the falls, and they're not allowed to do any of that commercialization down past here. It sure is. And to our left actually is a Garden Oaks Theatre. This was donated by the Oaks family on the stipulation that it remains open to the public and is never developed. To the left also is the Brock Hotel, and I was really thrilled to see that it reverted back. It's owned by Crown Plaza, but last year it reverted back to its original name of the Brock Hotel, built in 1927. The Brock Hotel had several famous people staying, like Jimmy Stewart, Walt Disney, Queen Elizabeth, and Princess Margaret, but their most famous guest that stayed in room 801, which is the most requested room, and that's Marilyn Monroe. So she stayed here, and when they were filming the 1950 movie called Niagara, that pushed her to superstardom. At the time, she was having was in a relationship with Joe DiMaggio, and he stayed on the other side of the river. He was not on this side. You're right. As we go around, you'll see where the Native American side. That is the old Shaw Club power plant, and in 1956, 2/3 of it slid into the Niagara River. They were cautious of dangerous seepage from the earlier in the day, and there was a crack that appeared that quickly widened to 2 feet in 30 seconds, and 2/3 of that power plant slid into the Niagara River, taking with it 39 men. 38 of them were able to scramble and make it back up to the top successfully. It was never rebuilt, but it's used as a docking for the Native Mist. The Native Mist actually used to be on the Canadian side till a city councilor actually asked, well, why do we keep renewing their contract every 30 years? Why don't we put it out to tender? And they did, and that's why Port Blower now is on this side, and the Native Mist is on that side. But both sides did win because they actually now both have larger boats that can go closer to the falls. This stretch here we call Bed and Breakfastville. This was over 200 bed and breakfasts along here. And there's all the way along here, obviously as you can tell, it's very difficult to plant anything. And they do have trouble with invasive species, which they have removed, but they've actually used they use slingshots and these balls which have flowers, soil, and native plants like black-eyed Susans and foxglove, and then they use slingshots to shoot them into the side of the skirt, hoping they'll grow and take the place of the invasive species which they pulled out. As we go along here, there's three buildings that are parked in close succession. So on our left shortly, I'll point out when you go by it, right here, and in this street, Murdoch Mystery Fans is right here on the corner. This building has shot several films from the Murdoch Mysteries here. There's Christ Church, Anglican Church. This is where Queen Elizabeth attended when the mass she attended when she was in came to Niagara Falls. And up here at Henry's Motel is a barrel used by Redhill Jr. to successfully shoot the Whirlpool Rapids. Unfortunately, he did go over the Niagara Falls, and he had 15 air tubes all interlaced together, and they fell apart. But when you think of the Whirlpool Rapids, 22 people have gone over, only 11 have been successful, because a worse success rate than Niagara Falls. The reason why is because of the whirlpool at the bottom that people have got stuck in. So that's what I'm going to tell you more about that shortly, but there's a few things that I want to point out instead as we go here. This here is the railroad bridge. Obviously it's been moved, but the one that replaced underneath actually was the site of where Harriet Tubman had 13 successful crossings as Moses on the Underground Railroad, bringing slaves to freedom in Canada. So it's blessings they attribute coming across that bridge. Here is on the left-hand side, you'll see Sam Cham Buddhist Temple, and here is the Whitewater Walk. For the Sam Cham Buddhist Temple, or Temple of 10,000 Buddhas, and it has a free attraction that you can just don't take pictures, remove your shoes, and be respectful of the monks. You can also find the monks at the 7-Eleven because they like the slushies there. As we go along here, we saw the Whitewater Walk. This all along here, which is different, you can't really see it, is this drops, the last quarter mile drops 47 feet. And this is Class 6 rapids. They're Class 6 rapids, the full all year. Some places only have Class 5 rapids, depending on the season. This is all year Class 6 rapids. And it's also where Superman rescued Lois Lane in Superman 2. This was in the down in the Whitewater Rapids here. As we're going around the corner, we're going to do a brief photo stop, just a 10-minute stop. That's it, to jump off and take a picture at the Whirlpool Rapids. Like I said, it's coming down the last quarter of a mile, drops 47 feet, and then it does a 90-degree turn and heads out to Lake Ontario. Why does it do a 90-degree turn? Path of least resistance. Before the last glacier, it was St. David's riverbed, and it was all filled up with glacial till, which was easier to erode, and that's why when you dig here, when we turn in here, you will see the Whirlpool Rapids. It spins counterclockwise. At low water levels it will go clockwise, but it spins counterclockwise. This is one of the narrowest parts of the Niagara River, so the closest you see is in the United States. The cable car that's in here is actually since 1916. It's an antique cable car. It has a perfect safety record, and it actually goes from Canada to Canada. Colts Point to Thompson Point, and if you go on the cable car, you cross the international border 4 times. We're just stopping for a photo shoot. The best is under the red canopy behind the gift shop, or just right out here where Michael drops this off. So we want to be back on the bus at 22. Okay, so back on the bus.